semi slams into a Saskatoon overpass. How long will traffic troubles continue, and what detours are in place? Celebrating Saskatoon's Citizen of the Year, the tireless work being recognized by one of our city's most deserving residents. And a first for Saskatchewan RM, we meet a woman leading the charge.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight on the southern edge of the city. Late yesterday, a semi hauling heavy equipment hit a major overpass. Now officials are inspecting the damage and coming up with a repair plan. CTV's Stacey Hine now on what officials are saying about the crash.
This was the scene late Thursday afternoon. An excavator on the back of a semi was sliced in half after crashing into an overpass at the Circle Drive, Highway 11 and Highway 16 Cloverleaf. No one was injured.
They're lucky nobody was killed. It's ridiculous. It's extremely frustrating.
Traffic in the area was disrupted for hours and remains impacted, with lane closures in place as engineers assess the damage and plan repairs. The city says the load was well above clearance.
The load was significantly higher than the available clearance. Even if this bridge was 10 feet taller, it would have hit the next one down the road.
It's not the first time the overpass has been hit. It was struck in 2007 and again in 2016. The city says warning systems are in place, including signage and permit requirements, but says the driver did not have a permit.
The Saskatoon Police is investigating to decide if charges are warranted, so we're letting that process go through.
The city says it's considering all legal options to recover the cost of repairs. A bylaw passed last year makes it an offense to damage city property and allows officials to seek cost recovery. Fines can reach $10,000 for a driver and $25,000 for a company. Meanwhile, one city official has a message for drivers hauling oversized loads.
Don't be a blockhead. Measure your load before you try and move and get a permit.
The city says Highway 16 eastbound will be reduced to a single lane until repairs are complete. There's no timeline yet for those repairs, but the city hopes work can begin next week. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A city committee has approved the first step for more bike lanes on Victoria Avenue. The city's transportation committee voted to approve the plan, which would see separated bike lanes for each direction on each side of Victoria Avenue from Taylor Street to Ruth Street. The project would eliminate on-street parking on Victoria Avenue and would cost $3.6 million. The annual cost of snow clearing would also rise from $30,000 a year to $225,000. The approval was not unanimous, as Councillor Rob Pierce voted against the plan and expressed concern about how many bike riders would use the lanes and the cost of snow removal. The plan still has to be approved by City Council at a future meeting. The provincial government is renewing a partnership with Straight Up, a Saskatoon organization that helps people leaving gang life. The province is allocating just over $1.1 million in core funding to support the organization's community intervention model in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and Regina. The funding helps people aged 15 to 30 who would like to leave a life of gang activity get support for things like custody outreach, community supports, tattoo removal, and assistance finding housing and life skills. Amber Pelche says the program helped transform her life.
I came from humble beginnings. My childhood, you wouldn't have thought that I would be in a gang. I ended up in a gang, went through every rock bottom you could possibly think of, ended up in jail, and now I'm proud to say that I am sober now. I'm a loving parent. My children want me in their lives. I'm a proud grandparent. I hold down a job today rather than holding down a trap house.
The funding carries an option to extend the agreement for one or more additional fiscal years. RCMP say they have not received any additional reports of sudden deaths or illness related to a possibly hazardous beverage in the Battlefords area. Earlier this week, police and the Ministry of Health issued an alert after multiple deaths were reported. The alert warned of a dangerous drink or liquid making its rounds. Police and the coroner service were investigating whether the deaths were linked to this substance. Although police are still cautioning people not to consume unknown drinks or liquids, they say they've determined the beverage is not linked to any that are commercially available, and they are still investigating. Prince Albert police have charged a man and a woman after a vehicle was stolen at gunpoint. Police say they were called to the 2600 block of 2nd Avenue West where the vehicle was stolen. Officers learned 4 people were allegedly taking a ride share yesterday when one of them pulled out a gun and told the driver to get out of the vehicle. Police tracked the vehicle where it was disabled on Kemp Crescent. A 26-year-old woman and 22-year-old man are charged with robbery with violence and possessing property of crime. RCMP in Carrot River are looking for a 24-year-old in connection to the shooting on Red Earth Cree Nation. On Tuesday, RCMP responded to the shooting on Red Earth Cree Nation. Officers found a man with injuries consistent with a gunshot wound. He was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police determined a gray Chevrolet Impala approached the victim and a firearm was discharged. Through their investigation, RCMP have charged 24-year-old Julian Kitchener from Shoal Lake with weapons-related offenses. RCMP are working to locate him. Anyone with information is asked to contact RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Prepare for more pain at the pumps. Gas prices have taken a significant jump in Saskatchewan, nearing $1.50 a liter for the first time in 3 years. And as Donovan Mace shows us, this might just be the beginning.
It's a tough day to have an empty fuel tank, as Saskatchewan drivers feel the shock of a stark rise in gas prices.
The last 1 week, it increased about 20 cents.
Our province not the only area feeling the impact, as fuel prices across the country are seeing increases. On Wednesday, the average price of regular fuel in Saskatchewan, $1.32 per liter. Yesterday, up 2 cents to $1.34. And today, an increase of an additional 4 cents per liter to $1.38. And that's just the average, as some stations have seen increases of 13 cents since Monday. In Regina, prices are nearing $1.50, while Saskatoon surpassing that mark for the first time in 3 years.
You'd have to go back to the summer of 2023, the last time we saw prices over $1.50.
The cause is continued conflict in the Middle East and volatility in the oil market.
We morph from a strike to a more protracted war. It becomes a bit of an economic quagmire in which the first initial hit is to consumers for fuel.
Now, Saskatchewan is reliant on the high price of oil, but the province says it's unlikely to change its projections for the upcoming budget. In a statement to CTV News, Minister of Finance Jim Ryder says while prices are high right now, which helps revenues of the province, these fluctuations could easily be short-term. And analysts are weary to project exactly how high fuel prices could go.
To say what I believe will happen 4 weeks from now, I would probably have a better chance of hitting the bullseye of a dartboard with a dart 3 times in a row.
And residents are as uncertain as ever for what may come.
I don't know how long it will last, and it may push the price high.
Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
With the deadline to remove ice fishing shacks in southern Saskatchewan just over a week away, the RCMP Underwater Recovery Team is warning fluctuating temperatures could make ice on lakes and rivers unstable. With more warm weather expected in Saskatchewan this weekend, RCMP say ice that was safe last weekend may not be safe this weekend. Anyone planning to head out is advised to measure for a minimum of 6 inches of clear ice for walking and constantly monitor conditions. If you're not sure how strong the ice is, you should wear a personal flotation device. And it will be warm this weekend, Jeff.
It will certainly be warm. And in some places, there's going to be some rain as well. And that will probably exacerbate the situation when it comes to the melting and maybe the impact on some of the frozen lakes. Keeping our eye on this system, it's one of 2 systems that's coming through Saskatchewan. This one actually may impact northern areas in a more significant way. Some places may see up to 10 centimeters of snow, but central and southern Saskatchewan, not so much. But tomorrow is going to be a windy day, and we'll tell you how windy later on.
Friends and family came together today to celebrate the 2025 Citizen of the Year presented by CTV. Mildred Kerr was nominated for her advocacy and community building dating back to the 1960s. Keenan Sorokon has more.
We are all one people. Friday was all about Mildred Kerr. The 87-year-old lifelong advocate doesn't feel deserving of the attention as dozens of family and friends gathered to celebrate the 2025 Citizen of the Year and her legacy.
Mildred continues to be self-effacing, continues to suggest that she's not worthy of the honor, but it's so good.
During a breakfast emceed by CTV's Jeff Rogstad, the co-founder of the Saskatoon Food Bank and board member of organizations like the Open Doors Society, Equal Justice for All, and the Ability Hub, never stops working. This tireless advocate was appealing on behalf of a homeless person who was wrongfully evicted when she was nominated for the award.
You do what you can, but don't stop doing it. It keeps you healthy.
Kerr ended her thank you speech Friday by reminding people the multi-year wait homeless people face to get basic housing, and no one here would expect her to pass up an opportunity to support someone else.
It seems like there was something in her, some kind of metal in her that just moves her to do these things.
It isn't about us. It is about being the megaphone to let everybody know about some of the amazing things that are happening in their city that they may just have never heard about.
If she had one piece of advice to make a difference, Kerr says to remain generous any way you can.
Continue to give. It amazes me how generous people are in whatever way.
Brenna couldn't think of a more deserving person who has always championed those around her and continues to inspire future generations. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Educators and Métis leaders from across the province are in Saskatoon this weekend to discuss implementing Métis culture in the classroom. Hundreds are gathering at TCU Place today and tomorrow for Métis Nation Saskatchewan's annual Early Learning and Childcare Conference. This year's theme, Weaving the Future Together, focuses on bringing history, culture, and language into education. Métis Nation says the event brings together both Métis and non-Métis educators.
We want to make sure that everyone's here to learn about our culture and our language and the best practices in early learning.
Métis Nation says the hope is that educators bring the lessons learned back to their communities and their classrooms. A group of First Nations chiefs are heading to Buckingham Palace to meet with King Charles III. The 7 chiefs, all from Treaty 6 First Nations, most of them in Saskatchewan, will meet the King next week and are expected to deliver an in-person invitation for the King to attend a celebration marking 150 years since the signing of Treaty 6 in August. The royal invitation came after the chiefs contacted the King about potentially attending the commemoration in the summer, along with talks for a potential royal visit. An historic tour is in the works that would see the original treaty parchment return to the places it was signed in 1876. The delegation will leave Saskatoon on Monday afternoon. A newly elected reeve in north central Saskatchewan is making history with her win just in time for International Women's Day on Sunday. Jasmine Pelche reports on why this election result stands out.
The newly elected reeve for the RM of Buckland says one thing drew her attention to municipal politics.
It's my community and I've got some skills and we have to have people step up to the plate when and where they can.
It's a historic moment for the municipality located just north of Prince Albert because Linda Clavel is the first woman to serve as reeve of Buckland.
It was about time, you know. I would encourage women to be more involved in politics. On council right now, we have 2 women councillors out of 6, and they're just as involved in all the discussions.
Clavel has been a resident of Buckland for more than 40 years and was a councillor from 2011 to 2014. She says she campaigned for reeve through Facebook and made it a priority to answer all the comments and messages she received. Clavel says she was encouraged to run for reeve at the suggestion of community members.
I was happily retired and I had some people saying to me, Linda, we need your organization. We need some skills. We need some direction setting. You know, we've got the technical stuff, but we need to know where we should take this RM.
One of Clavel's goals is to build a strategic plan based on the needs vocalized by the RM's ratepayers, and she hopes to see community engagement.
I want people to be in touch with their counselors, be in touch with the office, be in touch with me. And in this strategic plan development that I want to see, it's not going to happen without involvement.
Clavel will be officially sworn in Monday. Jasmine Palshay, CTV News, Prince Albert.
It was a sight to see on a highway in southern Saskatchewan this week, a house on wheels. Jacob Carr has more on the well-documented journey of the massive log house from Lejourde to Strasbourg.
If you were traveling along a Saskatchewan highway this week, you might have caught a glimpse of the now infamous log house on its way to its destination just west of Strasbourg. The home is owned by a couple who originally hail from Alberta. For them, seeing their domicile on wheels brings a sigh of relief in a process that they say took years to get moving.
It's a lot of emotion in there too, lots of money, emotion, our family. We have 6 kids, we homeschool, and we're on the farm here. We don't have enough space. But yeah, what do? You just hang in and go through.
The house began its journey Tuesday in Lejourde, making multiple pit stops on the way. Neufeld Building Movers was responsible for the task of moving the mammoth home along the Saskatchewan highways and has worked closely with the provincial highway hotline along the way.
We're just asking everyone to be patient with us and watch the highway hotlines. We give them our live locations so they can track us all day long to see where we're at.
CTV News reached out to the highway hotline for comment, but were informed by the organization that the moving of the house and the resulting highway closures and detours had gone smoothly thus far. For Den Boer, the amount of eyeballs and coverage that her home's journey has garnered is a shock.
No, because when we talked with the mover too, it was like, oh yeah, it will be a bigger house, but we can do it easily, so it's not really a big deal. So we never expected that it would have so much attention from the media and stuff.
The operation did go through a slight hiccup on Thursday, as Den Boer said the move had to be halted due to snow. She says the house is currently parked for the weekend just outside Bullia and will arrive at its destination on Monday. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, the latest from the attacks in the Middle East. What's being done to help with the thousands of Canadians caught in the war zone. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. To the Middle East now, where U.S. President Donald Trump says he won't accept a deal with Iran at this stage, only unconditional surrender. This comes as U.S. and Israeli forces continued their bombardment for a 7th day as Iran targets countries around the region. CTV's Adrian Gobriel reports.
Friday's prayers at Tehran's Grand Mosque punctuate 7 days of war across the Middle East. Spilling into the streets, thousands of Islamic Republic regime supporters protest the killing of their supreme leader. One man holding up a sign that reads in Farsi, "Death to America." As air raid sirens sound in Tel Aviv, warning of an incoming Iranian missile strike, Israeli and U.S. forces have vowed to increase their ever-intensifying onslaught across Iran. The IDF releasing this video, a barrage of bombs fired by roughly 50 Israeli fighter jets on the first day of this war. The target, an underground military bunker where Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, may have been killed. On the outskirts of Adana, Turkey, a group of elders hold court at this table. The heated discussion of this day, Iran's right to defend itself after a NATO base in this city shot down an Iranian missile in Turkish airspace. Hassan Berdogan questions, why are we spending money on war instead of helping people? Abdul Rahman chimes in saying he believes Iran has the right to hit any country that has a U.S. base.
We're in southern Turkey, which borders both Syria and Iraq. Now, this neighborhood is called Anadolu. It's home to a community of refugees, many living in poverty. They know the toll of regional war all too well. We met 12-year-old Fouad, who wants to be a police officer. His 12-year-old friend Hassan wants to be a singer. Each of their families fled war in Syria. They tell us that it feels like danger has followed them since the day they were born.
We are worried because it feels like everyone is dying, says young Foa.
Do you have any hope to go back to Syria?
The country is our country, says Hassan. When the war is over, we will return. Though when that will be possible is anyone's guess.
Are you worried for future generations in this region?
Yes, we are worried, says this elder. The war is feeding the rich. The powerful are having their way while people die.
And tonight, multiple reports citing American officials who say Russia is now providing Iran with location intelligence to target U.S. assets in the Middle East. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Adana, Turkey.
As the war in the Middle East widens, there are new efforts to help Canadians evacuate the region. The federal government says 3,500 Canadians have now asked for help with seats on a charter flight and commercial flights booked for tomorrow. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
More than a dozen countries have been drawn into the war, putting thousands of Canadians in the line of fire, including this couple stranded in Doha.
We saw one projectile just above our head and big bang. And that was followed by another 3 or 4 bangs.
The war is widening. The U.S. and Israel are intensifying airstrikes against Iran and militant groups in Lebanon and Iraq, while the Islamic Republic has retaliated against 10 neighboring nations that are American allies. Of the more than 108,000 Canadians registered in the Middle East, 3,500 people have requested help from Global Affairs to leave.
Step by step, we are ensuring that Canadians can leave through 3 means, either through our chartered flights, through block bookings on existing airlines, and by ground transportation.
The bombing has intensified in Lebanon as Israel targets Hezbollah, while the majority of Canadians are stuck in the United Arab Emirates. One charter flight and seats on several commercial airlines have been organized to get 460 people out of Dubai and Beirut. But the Canadian Armed Forces hasn't yet been asked to step in, but they are assessing the circumstances.
We do not have any such request yet, nor have we moved major assets like ships or airplanes.
The military does have the resources to evacuate Canadians if needed. In 2006, almost 15,000 people were evacuated from Lebanon under Operation Lion.
Well, there were military and foreign affairs officials working together, working alongside others that were called into the mission. And it happened very quickly. It happened literally within days. We were able to mobilize.
Bus transportation leaving Qatar to Saudi Arabia has also been arranged for about 200 people. The federal government says Canadians will have to pay for those seats on buses and flights leaving the war zone. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is wrapping up his 9-day trip around the world, signing a new partnership with Japan. But Canada's upcoming review of its free trade deal with the U.S. could play a factor. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports from Tokyo.
Japan welcomed Prime Minister Mark Carney with O Canada, while Carney offered up some Japanese. Like in India and Australia, the Prime Minister is trying to show the Indo-Pacific Canada has what the world wants. In Japan, that's Canada's energy, especially LNG, and food.
We do much, but we're ready to do much more. And that's a common theme of our government. So my government was elected with a clear mandate to build boldly with a speed not seen in generations.
Canada and Japan announced a new strategic partnership boosting trade, energy, and defense.
We need to be doing a lot more with Japan and with Korea when it comes to understanding the threat from China and Russia to Canada's, basically Canada's western part of our Arctic.
Kuzma is very important part of the calculation.
But nearly 3/4 of cars made in Canada are Japanese, providing thousands of Canadian jobs. And Japan is watching the review of the Canada-US-Mexico Free Trade Agreement closely.
I think that is the critical condition. Because Canada is, of course, a G7 country. Your GDP is one of the top 10 countries, $2.5 trillion. But you know the size of the U.S. market, $30 trillion.
And I think the Prime Minister laid out
this evening during his meeting with Prime Minister Takaichi that Canada is in a pretty solid position. Of course, the negotiations will start formally with the United States in the weeks and months ahead.
The Prime Minister has a host of business meetings Saturday, including with some of the big Japanese automakers. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Tokyo.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, things are looking spectacular. Well, they're going to be a bit on the cold side for opening night, opening day. Let's take a closer look at March the 14th. So that is Saturday, 2 o'clock matinee, and then a 7:30 evening performance of Mamma Mia from the Fireside Singers. -11 is your daytime high, but you'll be indoors enjoying the music and the sun and the dancing. Mainly sunny skies. TCUtickets.ca, as they mentioned, to get your tickets to Mamma Mia, presented by Saskatoon Fireside Singers. Now, let's take a look at our numbers. Currently, it is 2 degrees in Saskatoon. And yes, we've got a little bit of a icon saying snow, but we have had reports of a little bit of rain out there. So not a surprise with a temperature of 2 degrees. -3 in Prince Albert, 0 in the Battlefords. And as you can see, not particularly windy yet, but it's coming. On to our almanac. Saskatoon's high temperature today was 2 degrees. -4 is typical, so 6 degrees above seasonal. 11, though, that was the record set in 1987, second day in a row that it's from 1987. -35 from 1897. That was the cold temperature record that still stands. 7:42 is when the sun came up, and it's going to go down just before 7 o'clock.
Coming up, going to new heights for the Colonel, the fried chicken that was worth flying in for.
Celebrating our outstanding citizens. Monday on Your Morning, we are reintroducing you to the CTV Saskatoon Citizen of the Year. And Tuesday, we'll talk to Regina's. Stay tuned for that.
Okay, taking a quick look through the live lens of Skycam. A little obscured because we do have some clouds in the area, and we've had a little bit of shower activity and maybe some flurries depending on where you are in the city. Let's take a look at the satellite and radar shot here. And really what we're keeping our eye on, or at least noting, is this warm Pacific air, an atmospheric river, that is scrubbing out the Rockies, going to scrub out the moisture, but then that warm air comes our way, and we are certainly going to see a warm up, particularly tomorrow. So let's get out of the way and we'll recap our temperatures. 2 degrees in Saskatoon, -3 in Prince Albert, and 0 in the Battlefords. Getting a little breezier in Saskatoon and the Battlefords as opposed to what's going on in Prince Albert. The hot spot, Maple Creek, at 9 degrees. Uranium City, the cold spot, at -34. Currently, it is -4 in Regina, -7 in York, and -3 in Estevan. Otherwise, we're looking at plus temperatures for Lloydminster, Swift Current, and Moose Jaw, both in at 4 degrees. Into central parts of the province, temperatures ranging from -5 in Nipawin up to 4 degrees, and that is in Rosetown. It's 2 in Meadow Lake, 3 in Kindersley, -1 in Wynyard. Up north, not bad, but still kind of cool up around Stony Rapids and Collins Bay into the high teens, low 20s on the minus side of things. But La Ronge, Sandy Bay, Island Falls, -3 degrees in those communities. 7 degrees right now in Maple Creek, 4 in East End, 6 in Coronach, -3 in Carlisle, -7 in Melville, and a number of communities in and around that 4-degree mark. Now we're making our way onto our futurecast. And as you can see, before midnight, this system is pretty much in Alberta, but after midnight, it slides into Saskatchewan, and some of that rain snow mix changes mostly to snow. Some places like Stony Rapids may see 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, not as much for, well, I changed my mind. It looks as though Buffalo Narrows and Key Lake may also receive between 5 and 10 centimeters of snow. And as you can see, a really interesting range of temperatures for northern Saskatchewan tomorrow. 6 degrees for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood tomorrow, 10 in Kindersley, 9 in Rosetown, a possibility of some flurries or wet snow in the Spiritwood area. Cloudy or mainly cloudy skies in southwestern Saskatchewan, but wind will be the big deal of the day. And outlook in Swift Current, maybe wind gusts up around 60 kilometers an hour. 12 degrees for Swift Current and Leader, 14 for Maple Creek. Yeah, 14, I know. 8 degrees for Outlook, 8 degrees as well in Estevan, 10 in Moose Jaw, 7 in Regina, 5 in Yorkton. Windy conditions throughout much of the region, and a possibility of showers or flurries for Melfort and Hudson Bay. Mainly cloudy skies for Watrous and Humboldt. Temperatures in the region hanging around that 4 or 5 degree mark. For the Battlefords, dropping down to -6 tonight, warming up to 7 tomorrow. Maybe some fog patches in the overnight, and then a windy day as well with that warm temperature of 7. Oh, I guess it's changed to 6. Chance of some showers on Sunday, and then into the low minus single digits for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday -6, and Friday -12. Prince Albert area -9 overnight, 6 degrees tomorrow. Good chance of some flurries, changing to a slight chance of showers tomorrow afternoon. And then we've got ourselves a chance of flurries on Sunday, albeit just a 40% chance. -1 for a high, -8 on Monday, -6 on Tuesday, -4 on Wednesday. And by the time we get to Friday, -12 degrees in Saskatoon's overnight temperature, and dropping down to -9 degrees, a slight chance of flurries. Winds out of the southwest at 20, and the winds really pick up tomorrow, though. A windy and warm day, so we could really see a lot of melting going on. Mainly cloudy skies. Chance of some showers or flurries on Sunday, 2 on the plus side. -4 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday -1, back to -4 on Thursday, and Friday -12. Bruce Cockburn, seen performing last summer in Ontario, is the latest headliner announced for the Sask Jazz Fest in Victoria Park. The 13-time Juno winner, that's right, 13 trophies, known for his hits Wondering Where the Lions Are, If a Tree Falls, and If I Had a Rocket Launcher, will play on Friday, July 10th at 9 o'clock. Juno-nominated Canadian musician and newly minted Saskatoon resident Royal Wood will take to the stage before Cockburn at 7 o'clock that night. Also from Saskatoon, Eileen Laverty will open the day at 5:30. Sask Jazz runs from July 5th to the 11th. Tickets for the Victoria Park performances are on sale now. The creator behind Heated Rivalry is now set to make a new Netflix series about Alexander the Great. Jacob Tierney will write, direct, and serve as executive producer for the upcoming series, Alexander. It's based on Canadian author Annabelle Lyons' best-selling novel, The Golden Mean, which imagines the relationship between Alexander the Great and his tutor, the philosopher Aristotle. Netflix has not provided any other details about the series, including a possible release date.
The Black Youth of you sitting in and out of lanes and near TCs now speeding.
Police audio of Britney Spears' arrest has been released. Spears was arrested on Wednesday night in Ventura County in Los Angeles on suspicion of driving under the influence. She is due in court in May. There are no word yet on charges. A representative for Spears has responded with a statement which says, quote, Britney is going to take the right steps and comply with the law, and hopefully this can be the first step in long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life. End of quote.
All right, time for Pick of the Day. What do you have?
We have got a triple hit, so let's start off with this one. And if you can see on the horizon there, this is from Cindy, and this was taken near Bigger. And Cindy says, X marks the spot. Oh, what kind of treasure is there? But that's a nice shot there with those contrails in the air. Daryl has sent us this next picture, and this is from a little while ago, but I still love it. Daryl tells us this is Hoarfrost, south of Greenwater Park. That is a lovely shot. And who knows, we got a little fog tonight. We might see a little bit more rime ice as we make our way into tomorrow. And finally, from Michael Ross, this is actually sort of a picture of a picture. Michael writes, I found this calendar from my late grandfather's auto body shop in Tisdale. Pay attention to the month of February. This calendar has the exact same year as 2026. Michael adds, weird. All right, so yes, that's how it lines up. So thank you to all these people for submitting pictures, and if you'd like to submit an image to us, you can do so by sending it to cfqc@ctvnews.ca. And you put Pick of the Day in the subject line. That's very helpful indeed.
Still to come on CTV News, flying in for fried chicken. The pilot who made a special stop in Saskatchewan for what some feel is the best buffet. The last KFC buffet in Canada remains open in Weyburn. It's something that attracts visitors from near and far. And as David Prisiak tells us, that includes one man who went to new heights to get there.
It was the first, and now it's also the last. Opening in 1988, Weyburn's KFC buffet is known across the country as the last of its kind in Canada. And even with a closure scare about 10 years ago, it's still here. It was enough for pilot and YouTuber Glenn Powell to fly hundreds of kilometers to try it for himself.
Larry, the manager, talked to everybody who came through the door. Like, he personally spoke to everybody. And you could see that he really cared about what was happening in his store. That amazed me, and I was very happy for that. Like, that's something that really moved me.
Powell, who has a background in TV production, began creating food and travel videos on YouTube a decade ago. Being a licensed pilot has expanded his reach on what he can cover.
When the opportunity for this airplane came along, I thought, okay, so now I'm going to do the TV show that I always wanted to do, but I can do it on YouTube now. Bought an old plane and spent 9 months in a shop rebuilding it, getting it ready, and now I can just fly it around and do cool things with it.
Powell plans to return to Saskatchewan soon to document some of the province's more natural and less chicken-fried related wonders, like the Athabasca sand dunes in the far north.
Fly low over the sand dunes and show people that Canada has a very diverse landscape. You would not expect full-on sand dunes in northern Saskatchewan.
But for now, he says his meal, courtesy of the Colonel, was well worth the trip.
The restaurant was packed with people, and the quality was high, and it was reasonably priced. It was well worth the trip.
David Prisiak, CTV News, Regina.
When we come back, we take you to the start of the Paralympics. And later, the golf mate everyone is fawning over.
All right, welcome back. It is time to check in on the rural forecast for tomorrow. And much like the rest of the province, things are going to be quite warm. Look at that, 10 degrees for Kindersley. We've got 7 in Lloydminster. Windy conditions, albeit Meadow Lake, windy and warm. And then a few places are going to be dealing with rain, snow mix, probably likely flurries in the morning, changing to showers in the afternoon. But we're not expecting a big downpour or anything like that. 4 degrees in Hudson Bay, 4 as well in Wynyard with windy conditions. A lot of places are going to be breezy, those areas that we have the windy icon, likely seeing sustained winds of about 40 kilometers an hour, gusting to 60 or stronger. And look at down south, many places with double-digit warm temperatures. Maple Creek at 14, a number of places at 11 and 12. And even as we move towards the eastern side of the province, pretty toasty. Temperatures around 5 degrees for Kenora, Broadview, and Carlisle. So what do we expect for Central Butte? A warm day in Central Butte, 10 degrees in Central Butte, winds out of the west 30, gusting to 50. And just to remind you that the big Bonspiel is coming up at the end of the month. I think it is the 26th to the 29th there in Central Butte. And Central Butte is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The 2026 Paralympic Winter Games are officially underway in Italy, with the opening ceremony unfolding this afternoon. A handful of Saskatchewan athletes, part of the Games. And as Team Canada gears up for competition, CTV's John Venevali-Rao introduces us to some of the athletes going for gold.
After a torch relay that saw the Paralympic flame carried across Italy, it finally made its way to the opening ceremony, where athletes from 50 countries gathered inside the iconic Verona Arena for a display celebrating the start of the 14th Paralympic Games. That'll see 50 Canadians compete, including Tyler Turner, who lost both legs below the knee because of a skydiving accident. He'll take part in para snowboarding after winning Canada's first gold in the sport 4 years ago.
I can't wait. I mean, I've been ready for this for so long. It's a long wait for this one moment to go put everything on the line, and I cannot wait for that moment to come.
Greatness doesn't start in the spotlight. It starts on local trails after school.
As shown in this promotional video, the athletes have been training hard to compete in all sorts of events, including wheelchair curling and para-skiing. With Saskatchewan's Brittany Hudak a top medal hope, an inspiration to others, she's at her 4th Paralympic Games. And when it comes to sledge hockey, the Canadian team predicts they'll again battle Team USA for the gold after winning silver at the last 2 games. The team is being led by Ontario's Tyler McGregor, who lost a leg to a type of bone cancer.
I think for us to be able to represent our sport on the global stage and inspire the next young kid who may be missing a leg or has a disability to maybe dream of one day doing the same, I think that's what success looks like.
Serving as honorary captain for the Paralympic team, 6-time para-skiing medalist Mac Marcoux.
I think across all 5 sports, we have a lot of athletes to keep your eye on. It's almost one of those things you can't look away because you might miss something incredible.
With new heroes and new stories set to emerge over the next 9 days of competition. John Benavali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
The Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission has given the green light to construct a uranium mine in northern Saskatchewan. NextGen Energy's Rook I project is located in the Athabasca Basin near La Loche. Yesterday, the Nuclear Safety Commission gave its approval to prepare the site and construct a mine. When operational, the company says it will be the largest single-source uranium mine in the world. The company says Rook I is capable of producing up to 30 million pounds per year, more than 20% of the current uranium supply, and more than 50% of the Western world supply. NextGen says official construction will begin this summer, and it's expected to take 4 years to complete. Coming up, the cutest caddy caught on camera. Then we find out who's ruling the roost in this neighborhood.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV tonight, starting at 7 with Happy's Place. Well, I think the internet has found the world's most adorable caddy. The internet's certainly fawning over this little one, but the fawn only has eyes for one golfer whose name was Nick. The person who posted the video says the fawn's mom was watching closely from a short distance away, but fawn's certainly just taking to Nick, the golfer.
That is pretty cool.
Sweet.
And I love the fact that it's like the doe's off. They're going, okay, we'll just let this play out.
Just looking to help.
Yeah. Yeah, but
very sweet. All right. Well, a neighborhood in North Sacramento, California has been taken over by chickens.
No! There's like more than 100.
They're everywhere.
It's like we live in our chicken farm.
Chickens are everywhere. They're not quiet and definitely not tidy. Neighbors say it's not clear how this happened or where they came from, but they've complained to the city about their presence. So far, the search for solutions has come up short, with the city saying they have other priorities besides chicken control.
Oh, yeah, what if they're in your neighborhood? Yeah, exactly. We've got other things to worry about than your crazy chickens. So.
Just a quick update. The city is sending us a quick update just a few minutes ago. Traffic restrictions are lifted for the northbound lanes on Highway 11 at the pass under the Circle Drive after the semi-hauling equipment hit the overpass yesterday. Highway 16 eastbound traffic remains reduced to a single lane. So traffic is tied up in that area. So if you can avoid it, it's probably good advice.
And we can tell you a few flakes are going to be falling right now. So we've got that going on. So take a look through the live lens of Skycam. You can see that.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna leave you with some stunning images of Saskatoon. Chad Hills was out and about.
He only takes stunning images. Well, that's his forte.
These are extra stunning
above
Saskatoon. So we're going to leave you with some of that tonight. Have a great and safe, happy weekend. And
enjoy the warmth.
Happy splashing. Right?
Yes. Happy splashing. But be careful around the river's edge. I noticed that when I take a look at South Saskatchewan. Please be careful. Or if you're thinking about doing some ice fishing, be careful and check those ice depths before you go onto the ice to do any of that kind of stuff.
Exactly. All right. Thanks and have a great weekend.